Well, my connection began when my father, World War II veteran, was dying, and I was not familiar with hospice prior to that time. But my eldest sister was a nurse, and she suggested we have hospice come and help the family and help my father, and it was a blessing. For the first time in my life, I believed in angels and angels on earth, and they helped us get through a very difficult time. We were all very, very close to my father, and at that time I was the deputy secretary, as the number 2 at the VA in Washington, and I came to learn that there wasn't much in the way of hospice at the VA, and VA is the largest healthcare system in the world. And I thought to myself, how could that be with the aging of the veteran population, that we don't have end-of-life care, palliative care, hospice care? So, and I just felt it needed to be corrected, and because I saw how meaningful it was for my personal family. And now I'm helping to run a large healthcare system, and I thought, well, veterans who are dying deserve the same type of compassion that hospice afforded to my family. But I always believe that you have to get buy-in from your senior people and from, to a certain degree, Congress, because they have to earmark money, right. Certain line items. But I just called in the leadership of my healthcare organization, my Undersecretary of Health, and healthcare operating chief, and told them how important this is, and then I wanted to started getting it implemented throughout the VA healthcare system, and and they were good enough to salute smartly and carry out the directive. But like I said, it's something that people came to understand how important it is, and I'm very, very grateful that we have such dedicated staff throughout the VA who are providing that, just as we do here in Talbot County, right here at this hospice house, and all the things we do for our veterans, not only in the hospice house but in their homes.
Yes, I was a Navy nurse during the Vietnam War. I was stationed at the Philadelphia Naval Hospital, where we took care of a lot of Marines. We were the East Coast Center for amputees. 2 years there, and then a year stationed at the Naval Academy. I spent the rest of my nursing career as a nurse practitioner, and I too, like Anthony, became aware of hospice when my father was dying of cancer, and I was trying to be a daughter and a nurse and the go-between with the doctor and so forth. And then I learned about hospice, and the weight of the world was lifted off my shoulder, and I could be the daughter and spend that time being the daughter and not the nurse. At any rate, I have been volunteering here at hospice for almost 20 years, and I first started doing patient care here. I'm a doula. That's someone who sits with patients at end of life. And a few years ago, we started the We Honor Veterans program here at hospice, and we've been connected with the VFW here. And we have a ritual or ceremony we do when we have a patient who is a veteran. The Bayside Quilters have made a flag for each branch of the service. So when we have a veteran in hospice house, the flag for the branch of their service is hung on the door. They've also made quilts and pillows for us. So when we visit a veteran, and we have several veterans who go for this ceremony, we give them a pillow, we give them a quilt, and a pin for their service, and a poem is read.
And we have to be mindful of those who did serve, and that's what this program, I think, does, and that's why it's just so wonderful that we have volunteers that will provide these quilts to dying veterans. I mean, what an incredibly emotional thing to do.